So this is probably the most late review for Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. It's not that long of a game, but there's just some factors here that just went into all of my gameplay that kind of messed things up for me. I wanted to make a review, even though it's late, and let you guys know kind of just my experience, how I feel about this game, and basically, if I recommend you purchasing it or not. So to give some context, I did get this game on Game Pass through, PC Game Pass. I did not purchase it on Steam. I spent like $15 or whatever on the subscription to Game Pass, which I'll normally do, where I'll just like drop in, play a few games, drop back out. But I did hear some great things about this one. And starting this one off, I was immediately hit with just some issues. I'm going to be covering these in this review. And one of the main things I want to just like kind of jump into is right off the bat, the presentation. When it comes to the presentation of the game, I think the game is great. I think this is a Indiana Jones that has basically come to life. In a way, it's less of a game. It's a little bit more of like an interactive movie. You do play as Indiana Jones in like a first-person perspective. You're solving puzzles. You're not really dealing with too much combat. If you do happen to get into combat, it's kind of just like a little goofy, a little campy. And I think that's what makes it really cool. You're putting a crowbar between someone's legs and knocking them out, or, smashing them when they're on a chair. Everything about it just feels real old school and campy and honestly fun. To start off, my PC is not a crappy one. I've got a 4080. I've got a Ryzen 7, I think 7800X3D for my CPU. Got like 64 gigs of RAM. I honestly have built a beast slowly. And I am playing on this OLED, ultra wide monitor here, which kind of messes things up for me when I am playing games. It makes it a little harder to run. So when this one first started, I did run into just some immediate performance issues. The first thing you do is, you jump into the settings. And what I found myself doing was that I was just constantly in the settings. So to let you guys know, ray tracing, no matter what, is going to be in this one. You can't turn off ray tracing. You can turn on path tracing, but you can't turn off ray tracing. So I turned off path tracing, messed with things, tweaked the textures, lowered them. And it felt like almost everything I tried to do, the game just felt really stuttery. I was getting like 120, 150 frames, and then just like this micro stutter dropped to 1 frame. And it made it really jarring. If I have any of that gameplay, I'm going to be posting it so you guys could see. But it's just, it threw me off. It really did. And what I hate here is this is maybe like a 15 to 18 hour game, honestly, especially if you're kind of just running through it, playing the main missions, doing whatever side missions pop up. But I felt like I spent so much time troubleshooting this game, which is really my biggest con. What happened here was that like there always was just some issue that I found online through Reddit that someone had discovered. I was able to fix that little micro stutter by just turning off frame generation. I don't know why it was bugged for some reason, but I fixed it and I turned it off. I was able to play. Then I had a pop-in issue, and it almost felt like it just didn't stop, right? And this was just me in the beginning in this forest. Once I was able to fix that, I got into the Vatican, and all of a sudden the game worked fine. But slowly the game started to break again. So within the Vatican, I started to get like, maybe it's just me personally, but I got some crazy motion sickness during this game. To be completely honest with you guys, my stomach is not the best. I don't get motion sickness a lot in games. I know VR threw me off, but I don't know, something about the way the game was moving, something about the micro stutters, the pop in, it just did not feel right. And I was able to find out that, if you turn off the camera stabilization, or actually, I think you turn on camera stabilization and accessibility, it fixes it a lot. That was just like another issue that I was like running into, and, just turning down any screen shake and anything like that, taking it from an ultra wide down to just widescreen kind of help. It almost felt like every freaking time I played this game, I had a great experience that slowly just got more and more sour. Honestly, guys, it felt like I would turn the game on. I'm getting 120, 150 frames. The game looks smooth. Everything looks great. I'll even show you guys my settings here. I'm playing on ultra. I turned down some things. I watched the Digital Foundry video, and I've just seen so many things about how well this game is supposed to run. And it honestly just like threw me off. I was feeling like gaslit a little bit of like, is it just me? Is my PC screwed up? Is it the Game Pass title? I just wasn't sure. My most recent biggest issue, guys, and I'm at the last part of the game. I still have not finished it. Still going to review the game because I'm basically done with it, but I can't play the game for like more than a few, maybe 30 minutes without it just crashing my PC completely. And I mean, not just crashing just like the game, I mean, turning off my PC and just like restarting it. And honestly, it's freaky. I'm not a fan of it. I haven't had this experience with any other games. And I'm kind of just waiting on to see if there's like a new update or something that'll fix it. The frame generation thing was fixed through an update, and it actually helped me really well to have frame generation on. I was playing on DLSS. I did have performance mode on. That also helped. But there's like this crazy thing that happens where you'll just like be walking, and you'll just have the screen just like ghost real quick. Something will just pop up on screen. And that's how I know something's about to go horribly wrong within like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. So yeah, I haven't beat it and I'm making a review. I honestly don't care, sue me. But yeah, I've played enough to understand what this game is. And I really hate this because I like the game. I really like the game. I've seen good things about it and I wasn't disappointed at all here. I like the voice acting. I think Troy Baker as Harrison Ford is insane. I think this guy's got like the impersonation down completely. And small things that people might complain about, like the cutscenes being too long, you know, when you pick up a book, don't really matter to me because like what I said earlier, it feels like I'm playing more of like an interactive movie versus a game, right? It's got little game segments in it. I mean, you're not going to be shooting a lot. You're really just going to be stealth going around, beating up a guy. And it's like, if he hears you, maybe 2 other guys will hear you and you'll fight like 3 dudes. But I mean, it just feels completely like an Indiana Jones movie. Honestly, guys, as someone that's watched these movies, even just the puzzles, right? The puzzles aren't like super complex. I mean, there's a hint system with the camera. And I mean, just being in this world, being in the different locations, being able to explore whatever little side missions that you're able to find. I mean, they give you currency and stuff to upgrade Indiana Jones, but it's crazy. It's really, honestly, just such a cool thing to be playing here, being able to use the whip to like yank him and just, you know, he says his little quips like over here, bud, you know, or whatever white people say, but it's awesome. It really is. It feels great. And just small things like starting the game and him putting on his hat. I mean, all this stuff is really, really positive for me. It's stuff that I don't want to take away from the developers. It feels like they like put their heart and soul into this one. And, you know, they really tried to make a faithful Indiana Jones game. I will say just like the climbing a little bit throws me off when it goes into third person. But I mean, I went into this hoping it wasn't just like an Uncharted clone, kind of just like the Tomb Raider series. And it really wasn't. I mean, this is its own type of game. It really is. And I was telling you guys, I had fun. For the amount of time that I'm able to play it, I have fun. It's just really, really unfortunate that like I can't play it that long. I really can't. And it just starts to break itself. Drop a comment. Let me know if this is a thing. If you guys have it on Steam, if you purchased it, am I crazy, right? Is this happening to anyone else? Or is it just like a Game Pass thing? Is it just like unoptimized here on Game Pass? Because, you know, looking around, I do see people with issues, people with no issues, and it's really frustrating. That's honestly one of the biggest cons about PC gaming. And, you know, it almost makes me wish I just got it on PlayStation instead because I really like the game. You know, let me know if this is kind of your experience or if it's just me. To jump into a little bit more of a conclusion about how I feel about this game, guys, I think if you've got, I don't know, $70 to spend on a game, it's a little hard to recommend it. And it's not just the performance issues. It's hard to recommend because, you know, a game that's not that long to me, especially something that's a little more interactive like this, I'm almost like torn, right? It's like if I had spent $70 on this, I wouldn't really like feel like I got my money's worth to an extent. I mean, is it fun? Yes. Is the voice acting great? Yes. Are the graphics nice? Yes, they are. There's a lot of good here, but I almost feel like for $70, it's just like something you'll play once and kind of just like put away. So it's almost like a little bit of a waste of money unless you're into this sort of thing. But it being on Game Pass, honestly, guys, if you've got Xbox Game Pass, if you've got it on Xbox, I would say play it on Xbox. Let me know if you're having issues on PC. But I mean, overall, like, do I recommend the game? I really do. I would say if I had to give this one a score, I would give it a 7 out of 10, honestly. I don't feel like it's like one of the best games. This isn't like a game of the year situation. I think it's fun. I think it's a good time. And it just like is really, really faithful to like the source material. But like overall, like it's a cool experience to have, but it's not something that like, you know, you get home and you're just itching to play. So it's a little hard for me to say, hey, $70, I would go buy it. I think if you've got any of these subscription models, it's a no-brainer to just jump on and play. But, you know, at the end of the day, something that really just soured my experience and what honestly took so long for me to drop this review was just the performance issues, man. It's really, really frustrating. And I'll try to put as much of it as I can in this video. But, you know, from frame generation not working, motion sickness being a thing, the crashing now of my PC, the artifacting that happens, just constant pop in. There's just like this weirdness to this like PC title. And it's, I don't know, it throws me off because the more I look it up online, I'm just not sure if it's just me. So I'm not going to like really put it too much into the score because it might just be a one-off thing. But I feel like if you're going to play this one on PC, be a little careful. Steam is actually great with the whole refund thing. So if it doesn't run well for you, refund it. But honestly, just be a little careful if you're planning on buying it on PC. Maybe test it out on Game Pass and just see how it runs on your computer. But that would basically be my advice. So yeah, if you made it this far, I know this isn't like one of my typical reviews, right? Where I go over the story, the graphics, the gameplay, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to just like sum it up real quick for you guys. Story-wise is great. Graphics is great. Voice acting's great. The puzzles are fun. I like the whole like feeling of being Indiana Jones. But one of my main issues here is that I feel like when it comes to PC, this game is really just like not optimized, at least in my experience. But it's just like really been almost like a nightmare. I almost feel like I'm in the pause menu just so much messing with my video settings. And a lot of these settings just don't take into factor until you like completely restart the game and load it up again. And that's the other issue is like you'll load it up again. Everything's perfect, but it's perfect for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Unfortunately, this crashing thing, it's like I want to finish the game. I want to see how it ends. The twists that you start seeing later on are actually really cool. But it's just like, man, I really don't want to break my computer. It's like I put a lot of money into it, and something like that honestly is just real freaky. So again, sorry if this isn't just like normal content. This isn't any like normal reviews, but I just wanted to get this one out there. I want to let you guys know how I feel about it. I've been trying to play it over my Christmas break here going into the new year, but you know, I'm going to have to put it on pause at least until I get like some kind of update that fixes it. So if you like this type of content, game reviews, previews, news videos, I do everything gaming basically. Drop a like. Hit the subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Catch you later.